Association. Good morning, Melvin. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Good morning, Paul. How about you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for joining us. I'm trying to make sure we get the camera thing worked here, but we're still working on it. So
no problem.
We are July the 21st. I mean, we're moving on pretty fast toward the rollout of this thing. What have you heard as far as the status of how this is going?
Well, first, I want to give thanks to the Department of Health and the Department of Revenue. They've been doing a really great job as far as the program goes, especially with the limited timetable that they actually had to work with, the limited time to actually implement the program and everything like that. So they've been doing a wonderful job, especially considering that timeline. Right now, we have a couple of our members that have their licenses for processing and cultivation. A couple of, nice amount of work permits already signed up, and those people working. And, they're just chugging along, making sure that they have product out for patients.
So what's going slower than you would like right now as far as the industry is concerned? What's going a little bit slower than you would prefer?
I wouldn't necessarily call it slower. We're all learning these things. We're all learning how the program will work here. So, you have a percentage of that going on right now. But I wouldn't say anything's working too slow. I do think patient numbers will see an uptick once more product becomes available. More product is actually being announced as being available soon. I think you'll see a uptick in a lot more patient cards being issued and things like that. We have to get more providers online, and we're doing that now. The Department of Health has been very good in making sure that we're going to have providers here. We just have to make sure that we can get people these cards, they can apply for these cards, and that they can receive these cards in a timely manner.
Have we decided, has the health department issued all of their rules on that aspect of this?
Right now, we don't have any new rules or regulations that have come out recently. Of course, we have to keep track with those. But right now, it looks like everything is in place, how they're going to be right now. And again, they're doing a wonderful job with what they have, with the time that they've had. It can be quite difficult to bring a program of this scale up, and a lot of them had 120 days, 150 days max. 120 days for the Department of Health, 150 for the Department of Revenue, and I'm just glad that we actually have a program now.
But I was going to have some of that in front of me, and with the additional stuff we have going on here, I didn't pull it out. But you still have to be a doctor with a personal relationship in the state of Mississippi. Is that true?
Yes. So you would have to see a practitioner.
Well, not only a doctor, but there are several.
Yes. You have DOs, MDs, nurse practitioners, and optometrists. Yeah. And you just the way it's defined, you have to have that relationship there, and you would go to your practitioner. They would certify that you have one of those conditions. That information would be sent to the Department of Health, and that medical card, you will receive that medical card within about 5 days.
How long is that medical card good?
It's good for a year.
For a year. Then you got to go back through the same process.
Yes.
Which means another doctor's visit, and he or she has to start over again.
Yes. Yes. But if you have that relationship with that practitioner, then yeah.
Well, and at that particular time, too, you can see if it's doing you any good. Did we ever decide on you had to pay cash or you could use your credit card at the store?
So right now, you actually have to use cash for those transactions. Cannabis is still federally illegal, but there is legislation being discussed right now federally, like the Safe Banking Act, which I am a big supporter of, just for the ease of use of actually using credit cards and things like that, and debit cards, as well as safety for dispensary owners.
I've been asked this several times, and I have no earthly idea, but how much because you don't know what the quantity is going to be, but what's the average purchase cost
Well, it depends when the prices are set and everything. But as far as the quality is going to be some of the highest that you can find. We have a lot of testing labs that will come online. I actually had Steep Hill, Mississippi, their founder, Cliff Osborne, on our podcast that we do every Tuesday called Burning Questions. And, we were just talking to him about testing and how rigorous it is. And I think a lot of people, they just hear cannabis and they think, tie-dye shirts and this kind of thing that they've put in their mind because of reefer madness and everything. But no, this is a highly regulated industry. I know a lot of people, especially listeners here, don't like hearing the word regulation, but when it comes to something like this, we got to make sure it's very regulated, and it is. You're going to get top quality product from these companies in Mississippi, and
I was. Somebody said, if it's not going to be cheap. I mean, just average purchase is probably going to be $100 or more. I don't think you can go in and get something for $10 or $15. But then again, you can't get any insurance on this, so you're going to be paying.
That all depends on the price of the product at the time. It fluctuates, just like with everything here. When a lot of medical markets and a lot of medical programs go online, those prices are a little bit higher, but they eventually come down once you have more cultivators, more processors, more businesses. The prices do come down, but it just depends on what exactly you get. The numbers are kind of arbitrary right now because we just don't have any prices set.
One of the things that worries me, Melvin Robinson is Communications Director of the Mississippi Cannabis Trade Association. One of the things that worries me is that people were saying, well, the illegal trade is going to go down. And in some cases, in a lot of cases, it's gone up. And then you have to ask, why would it go up if you can do it legally and not be subjected to an arrest? And the reason for that is because more people are using it and they have their card, and sometimes they think, okay, I'll buy it off the streets where it's cheaper. They have no idea what they're getting. And number one, and number two, it's as illegal as anything else. So it doesn't stop the illegal trade.
Well, just a little pushback on that. People buy it off of the streets because it is cheaper because of taxes. You have legislation going on in California right now at the state level where they are curbing some of their taxes there. And that's one thing we have to watch out for here. We don't want to tax it too heavily. People are still going to go, and I don't like calling it the, illegal or the black market or anything. I like calling it the traditional market. More people will go to the traditional market just because of ease of access. You might not have those 22.
Whoa. You would call the illegal black market the traditional market?
That's traditionally.
That's giving it some credibility.
That is traditionally where people have bought their cannabis.
So the legal market is going to have to compete in the private marketplace with the traditional marketplace or business.
Yes.
Huh. That's amazing.
It's the truth, Paul. That's why the taxes, the taxation of it. That's why this is the biggest thing. We have to make sure that yes, we do want to tax it. We do want to make sure that we can use those funds for different projects in the state, for different areas in the state. But we also want to make sure we're not charging people outlandish amounts for this cannabis and things like that.
Yeah, I understand that one. When we got a quick break coming up here, but when we come back, I do want to ask you about this. If you and I walked into any of these processing plants right now, paint a picture of exactly what we would see, how large are the plants, are they growing, have they been seeded, and at what stage are these folks ready? And then there's the whole other side of these plants. As far as the edibles, where are they now as far as in their process of and getting certified and everything else? When we come back, Melvin Robinson, Communications Director of the Mississippi Cannabis Trade Association, back with more in just a moment. Oh, man. This is what we call raw blues. Traveling the Riverside Blues.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's done with 3 strings and a Prince Albert can, isn't it?
I think so.
We be back, and it's also live on TV, so we got that corrected and situated. And
oh, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Good to see you, finally.
Thank you. Good to see you. Microsoft decided to do an update on one of the computers right in the middle of the show.
Yeah. I totally understand that.
Can you? They could figure that out a little bit earlier. Do it earlier in the morning or something.
I know, right?
Right in the middle of the show. Melvin Robinson, again, Communications Director of Mississippi Cannabis Trade Association. Melvin, how many business members or members do you have?
Right now, we have about 17 business members.
Across the state?
Yes.
And I was looking at the website, and it said Southern Crop makes history as the first licensed medical cannabis cultivator and processor in the state.
Yes.
So is that a Mississippi-originated company?
No, they're actually out of Texas, but they came to the Mississippi market. They're a really good team. They're going to be located in Meridian. They contacted us. Really liked what we were doing in the state, decided to join us, and they also happened to have the be approved as the first licensed cultivators and processors in the state. So congratulations to them. We value their business and our relationship, and we can't wait to work with them further.
But a certain portion of that, a larger portion, has to be Mississippi-owned, does it not?
Yes. So for cultivators, so you have two tiers of cultivators. That is micro cultivator and cultivators. For cultivators, 35% of that business has to be owned by Mississippian, and for micro cultivators, it is 100% of that business.
Now, describe that micro cultivator. That's not at home, a few plants, is it?
No, so we don't have a home grow here in the state. A micro cultivator is a facility that is growing between, under 2,000 square feet of canopy for mature plants. So wherever your mature plant is stored, 2,000 square feet of canopy for that. So, people think about these big, huge facilities, but it's actually the canopy space where you grow your product.
We were talking before we went into the news break there. If you walked into any of these places now, let's talk about the people who are growing this, like Southern Crop. At what stage are they in? Are they still building up, or they actually have soil out there and they're planting it? Where is it right now?
Some places are that already have licenses. Some places do already have plants in soil and everything like that. Some people are still building up. But if you go into a facility, take one of our members. You go into the facility, you're going to sign, NDA, so they can protect their everything they're doing in there. You're going to go in, you're going to sign in, you're going to visit security, you're going to have a badge, you're going to always have someone there with you, you're going to have a chaperone. If you're going to look at product or anything, you're going to have to wear PPE, so you're going to have to put on scrubs, you're going to have to put on little
Sounds like my
booties.
Sounds like my trip to one of the chicken plants. Basically the same thing,
yeah. You're going to have to put on hair nets, and you're going to have to keep your distance away from the actual
And you don't get any samples. You don't get any samples.
You do not get any samples. No, not at all.
Where are they on the edibles, and how is that different? Because you have to grow the product to convert that into the edibles, right?
Yes. So you have to grow the product to convert them into edibles, of course. And, people, you have different kinds of edibles. You have, more people recognize gummies and brownies and things like that. And they're usually in those forms so people can actually ingest them. Having a chocolate bar or a piece of chocolate is quite better than just, a traditional peel or anything like that. But, those are concentrates. So you would actually produce
you
those.
Effectively have a kitchen and a chef somewhere doing that.
So you would have to have a kitchen, and those kitchens would have to actually pass food inspections through the Mississippi Department of Health. So if you're doing edibles and you're processing edibles, it's the same standard that is regulated towards a traditional restaurant as well.
Everything has to be checked and certified before it goes into the retail outlet, right?
Yeah, so that's like one of the places like Steep Hill. They'll actually test for pesticides, things that aren't supposed to be in there, THC levels and terpene levels. So once that lab report is finished, you can actually go to the packaging that product is in. You'll be able to scan it and actually pull up that lab report to see exactly what you're ingesting, what exactly is in it, when it was produced, where did it come from, all of that. And that's one thing, we always want to talk about, where people have to understand this is very regulated and very safe. And we want to make sure that we're helping people and not hurting people.
I was talking to one of our many doctor friends. This has been a while back, but he made a suggestion. I thought it was a very good suggestion. Is once you get your certification from a doctor, then you get that. Have those specs and call the doctor back and let him know those specs, how it interacts with your medication. And I just thought that was because that worries me a little bit, because we're all novices to this. It's almost like when casinos came in, we had no idea what we were going to see. When sports betting, when lottery, all of this is new to us. And this is new is from the business side to the consumer side.
Well, I mean, it's new to us, but it's not new as a whole. You know, one of the things we heard a lot of was, hey, you don't want to be the first one to buy a flying car. You know, we're not the first one to buy a flying car. We're the 37th to buy a flying car.
I don't know if that was a good analogy about getting high, but
well, you know, consuming cannabis. But you got to just understand that we've been doing this. Medical cannabis has been available in California since 1996. So, you know, we're decades into this now. This isn't just something that we're coming up with in the past 2 years, and we're the absolute first ones to do this.
Are all of the varieties proprietary per grower, or is cannabis just cannabis?
Oh, well, it depends. You have certain strands. You have certain companies that might grow seeds. You have certain companies that might do clones. It just all depends. It just all depends, honestly.
So, I mean, if you're going to develop your own strands, I mean, it seems to me that's a generational thing. It's going to take you a while to get that done.
Yes, and you have different chemists and different scientists that work at companies that develop strands. A lot of people might know different brands like cookies, and someone might say, hey, okay, this cookie brand, Indica, is, again, this is our proprietary object, and we sell it to different companies, and they can grow this brand of that product.
Now, Melvin, I understand to be a communications director, you've had to have some experience.
Yes.
In a legal sort of way, in a legal place, have you had a chance to advise people on how much of the cookie to eat?
Well, I'm not a practitioner. I'm not a practitioner.
Why don't you just ask him how many times he bought a dime bag?
I know, right?
I didn't ask him about that. I asked him, if you're going to be communications director, you know, you have to have some ability to communicate. And I was just wondering if he had maybe a card from another state at one particular time.
I mean, you can work for the NBA, but that doesn't mean I was a professional athlete, you know?
I guess you could work for the Department of Corrections and not be a prisoner at one time, too.
You know?
All right. Melvin, you got me on that one. But what does your organization offer? Because we got some people out there who are going to be coming into the market. They want the market to work out all the kinks before they get in and make this investment. So in the places where there are voids in there, or some of the municipalities who may later on allow this, the market's going to grow. But why do they need your organization?
Well, we focus on advocacy, education, and community. As far as community, we were actually at the Canna One Expo. That was in Biloxi 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago now. We hosted a social mixer with them as well at a great restaurant called 131 Lemieux. Ryan Bolton, he's an excellent chef. And we had about 150 people there. We bought the bar so people would have a really good time. And it was more like a networking mixer. You had a lot of people from all over the state there that were able to meet, discuss things, talk about things. And we were really happy with that. Also, on October the 7th through the 8th is the Lucky Leaf Expo. We're going to do something there with them. But as far as education, we release educational information. We have a resources tab on our website for businesses where if you need any kind of checklist of what you need to open up a business from the Department of Revenue and the Department of Health, we do that. And we advocate for patient access and businesses.
I believe you have a meeting today, don't you, on one of the websites?
Yep, July 21st at 6 p.m. You can go to MSCTA.org and register there. We're going to be going over the numbers of businesses that have applied and got their licenses now. We're going to also talk about patient cards and access in the future.
Melvin, you did a great job, sir. Don't be a stranger. We'll get you back in.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, partner. Appreciate it. Melvin Robinson, Communication Director of Mississippi Cannabis Trade